To confirm the rumors in July 2018 by signing with Italian Serie A club Juventus, which paid $140 million transfer fee to his old Spanish club, Real Madrid. Ronaldo paid tribute to Real Madrid fans in an open letter on the club website. It was, of course, very emotional. It says this year's that Real Madrid and his city, and this city of Madrid, have quite possibly been the happiest years of my life. I only have feelings of great gratitude to this club, to the fans, and to the city. I can only give thanks to all of them for the love and affection that I have received. By most measures, Ronaldo's debut season with Juventus was a successful one. He scored 10 times in his first 40 games and headed home the lone goal in a win over AC Milan for the Supercoppa Italia trophy. After leading his club to its 8 consecutive Serie A title, he was named the league most valuable player in May 2009. Returned to Manchester United after some time as well at Juventus. That was in August 2021. It was announced that Ronaldo will return to Manchester United, and of course, he made that return. But Doc, his second return at United, wasn't really an exciting one. In fact, I think he started going down when he made that move to Juventus and down to Manchester United once again.
Yes, you can say that again, but the Manchester United that he met was a Manchester United that was already down, and at that point he came in and he was the highest goal scorer. He made a lot of major contributions, even while they were attributing the poor result of the team to Cristiano Ronaldo. He still did his best. After he left, what was the situation of Manchester United? So you can see that it wasn't outrightly his fault in Manchester, in second coming to Manchester United. But I think he could have gone to other club other than going to Manchester.
You know, we had at that time Manchester City were even looking for him.
Yes, if he had gone to Manchester City, he would have created another record that people would have been like, this guy is something else. But he decided to go to, maybe because of his love for Manchester United. But most times a second coming doesn't always give us the best we always desire. I think he made a very big mistake going back to Manchester United. He would have gone to either Man City or Chelsea or any other club. If he had gone there, he would have done better than he did.
All right, so on his home soil, after moving through the youth and under 21 ranks, Ronaldo, of course, made his first appearance for Portugal's full national team against Kazakhstan in August 2003, 4 days after his debut for United. He was a key player in Portugal's fourth place finish at the 2006 World Cup and became the full-time captain of the national team in 2008. In 2012, his stellar play led Portugal to the semi-finals of the European Championship, where his team was eliminated by rival Spain in a match that was decided by a penalty kick shootout. Ronaldo came into the 2014 World Cup hot off a second World Player of the Year win, but his play at the tournament was sporty and the entire Portugal team struggled during the group stage elimination. In 2016, he helped Portugal win the European Championship, the country's first major international tournament title. Although he only played friendly in the final because of a new injury that he had sustained early in the match. Ronaldo played brilliantly at the 2018 World Cup, scoring 4 goals in 4 games as Portugal advanced to the knockout round, only to lose its first match of that stage to a strong defensive Uruguayan side. 4 years later, Ronaldo became the first male player to score at 5 different World Cups. However, he was not part of the starting lineup for several games, and Portugal's 2022 World Cup ended with a loss in the quarterfinal. Of course, Doc is talking about his international career, taking a look at things. He's done a whole lot, winning, of course, the European Championship in 2016. But the World Cup has been what the Portuguese fans have been beckoning on Ronaldo. Does he still has a chance?
I don't know. I can't really say he doesn't have a chance. In football, one thing about football, you can never say never. because anything is possible in football. And when you're looking at Cristiano Ronaldo in his national team, before Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal was nowhere. But during his era, in 2004, I think at his tender age in 2000, was it 2004? When Greece hosted, which year did Greece, when Portugal hosted, was 2004, right?
I think that was 2004, 2005.
2004. Cristiano Ronaldo was a member of that team, right?
Definitely.
I think he was a member of that team, and he played as a young player, while he was wearing 17, Luis Figo was wearing the number 7 shirt. So coming into Portugal, he did not only transform or change the mentality of the players, he went ahead to bring in 2 major trophies. 1, the European Nations Cup, 2, the European Nation League, which Portugal had no trophy before he came in. He did not end up there. He became the highest all-time international goal scorer with 100 and I think 29 goals or 132 or 31 goals or thereabout. If you check his performance with Portugal, he has really changed the mentality and what Portugal usually go for when it has to do with the European Championship and the World Cup. And kudos must be given to him. He has done a lot for Portugal and he has done a lot for football.
All right, we're talking about his goal-scoring prowess. At Real Madrid, he scored 450 goals. That was the total goal Ronaldo scored at Real Madrid. At Manchester United, he scored 145 goals. In the Portuguese national team, he scored 130 goals. And in Juventus, he scored 101 goals. In Atn Saturday, currently, he has scored 65 goals. And in Sporting CP, he just scored 5 goals, making it a total of 896 goals for Cristiano Ronaldo. And that should say he scored more goals at Real Madrid than even Manchester United, Doc.
Yes, and if you also check his stay and the caliber of players and the kind of trophy they won in Real Madrid, you can't compare it with what happened in Manchester United. While he was Manchester United, they really, apart from the one Champions League they won, it was not the case with Real Madrid. And you also check the caliber of players he played with while he was in Manchester United. In Real Madrid, he formed that BBC partnership with Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And the 3 of them, they had back-to-back UEFA Champions League win between a space of 3 years. And he was the highest goal scorer in all these tournaments. In the Champions League, he is the all-time highest goal scorer with about 147 goals or thereabout. So you see that at Real Madrid, there was always that enabling environment for him to perform, though with his own hard work. In the midfield, we had the likes of Modric, we had the likes of Casemiro, and they did a very powerful job. So we cannot take it away from him in his stay at Real Madrid Football Club.
All right, at this point, we'll bring you the net worth. The man, of course, has a very huge amount of money in his account. So we understand Ronaldo has a net worth of $600 million. And, of course, you see a very huge one, of course, down there for the man. But I think this is where we'll call it a wrap on today's edition of our Sports Personality Show on Atlantic Television Network. Been an exciting time, taking a look at the life of Cristiano Ronaldo. Doc, I don't know if you have any final word for Cristiano Ronaldo this morning.
What will I say? I think he should just continue with what he's doing, and he should also understand that you live when the ovation is high. If the leg can no longer carry, he should say goodbye to football, and all of us will be very happy for him.
Definitely, and of course, we wish Cristiano Ronaldo the best of luck in his football career. We'll be back next week, Saturday, for another exciting edition of Atn Sports Personality Show. But today by 6 p.m., Sport Extraordinary will, of course, make a return, and we'll take a look at the English Premier League as well as the other leagues in Europe, as club football makes a return as well this weekend. You can go down to our different social media handles. The conversation continues right there. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel. Thanks for watching.
Het is Feyenoord. Feyenoord gaat door. line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Good morning and welcome to Atn Saturday. Atn Saturday is a syndicated live program of the network featuring conversation on special interest topics, news, events and stories with correspondent reports, expert opinion and stakeholders analysis. The concept of the show is conversation between the anchor and guest about trending issues through an unscripted format conversation in studios and virtual means. And on to the topics for today. First, Enugu State. ECTDA to enforce zero noise policy. And on presidential aircraft, Chinese firm release one jet. On judiciary, appeal court overrules order against Secondus. Still on judiciary, NJC to investigate allegations against 27 judges. On PDP, party to inaugurate reconciliation disciplinary committees. And on healthcare, Jonathan urges churches to lead. Hashtag Igbo must go. We own this country together, Obasanjo says. And on democracy, CSOs bemoan withdrawal of AES from ECOWAS. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Atn Saturday is Asim Adams, ESQ. Asim Adams is a legal practitioner, he's a human rights advocate, and he's the convener, Lawyers Without Borders. Good morning, Asim, and welcome to Atn Saturday.
Good morning, Loresha. Good morning, Nigerians.
And I also have with me Honorable Churchill Wali, a politician. Good morning, Honorable Churchill.
Good morning, Larisha. Good morning, Nigeria.
And on to the story. Enugu State government is set to launch a sweeping enforcement of the zero noise policy, a vital initiative designed to combat the rampant noise pollution plaguing the Enugu State metropolis. During a spirited town hall meeting that brought together concerned stakeholders, Chief Uche Anya, the executive chairman of the Enugu State Capital Development Authority, announced that enforcement will begin on November 15, 2024. The meeting resulted in significant policy changes, including a strict ban on open-air music performances by bars and clubs in designated residential areas. Additionally, the enforcement will target roadside parking, obstructing roads for personal events, and loud religious gatherings. The ECTDA also directed all religious and relaxation centers to remove outdoor public address systems, reinforcing their commitment to a quieter, more serene Enugu State. The meeting, which was held at the auditorium of the State Secretariat Complex, was attended by representatives of religious organizations, relaxation centers, among other affected stakeholders. Let me start with you, Honorable Churchill. What is your take on this story?
Enugu State is just setting the pace for other states to also join suit, because the most important thing is that we are a developing country, and we believe in developed countries and ideologies. Most developed countries do not tolerate the horn speaker that so many churches uses. You know, those speakers that disturb the environment where people are supposed to rest, have their rest. Some clubs will be in the club, and their club environment, instead of club, is just a hall they are using. Because when you are playing music in a club, the outside person is not supposed to hear ordinarily. But some persons will be using their bar in terms of club, and they will disturb the environment where they are. People will not have rest. You know, normal human being is supposed to at least rest for at least 8 hours normally in a day. Normally, that is, if you want to have a good rest, 8 hours in a day out of 24 hours. But due to the environment you stay at times, you will see that even the 4 hours is a very stressing something. So it's a good one that Enugu State is putting it up. I also wish other states should join suit and really work towards this. And again, particularly, I also want my own state to also look at it. You know, jam parking cars along the road, mostly in GRA, when most persons are staying in that environment, because you are doing business there, you don't want people to sleep, you park along the road because you want to go to club. Any person that wants to have a business center, a good business center, should have a good parking space where people can come and park. It's also good.
All right.
So me, I applaud the Enugu State, and also wish other states to follow suit to make sure that we bring our country to a better step in developing among the developing countries.
All right.
Because Nigeria is old enough to have good plans for the residents, and also for the visitors. That is our visitors that are also in our country, for them to see our country as a country that is planned.
All right.
So I believe that charity begins one day.
Okay. Barrister Sims, what is your take on these developments trying to curb noise pollution in Enugu State?
Well, I think the only thing I will say is that I hope the government can have that particular mentality to execute whatever laws that they have amended. Because previous administrations in Enugu State, Rivers, Edo, even Lagos, it's been very difficult for them to implement the environmental laws of their states. Noise pollution, for instance, in Rivers State, under the environmental laws of Rivers State, noise pollution is amongst, one of those particular areas that there are laws guiding noise pollution or against noise pollution. But a lot of people don't even know that we have such laws in existence. And even where they know, they feel that the laws have not been executed, and the particular laws on environment here, is just on a piece of paper. So they flout it at will. That has become the bane of these environmental laws all over the state. All states have their environmental laws, and this noise pollution is one of the, the sections, and it prescribes punishment where you pollute noise. Now, a lot of people don't know the effect of noise pollution. If you look at most Nigerians are deaf, like they are deaf right now. About a survey was done where it was found out that, I think in Lagos State, about 20 Lagosians were taken before the ear, nose, and throat specialists, and they had to bring audio. They found out of the 20, about 9 of them are partially deaf. 3 are completely deaf. Now, the reason associated with some of all these things are, associated with noise pollution. Have you ever wondered why you see some Nigerians, when they are answering phone, they shout as if they are quarreling? But they are not quarreling. You know the reason why? Because the environment is polluted. Noise everywhere. For instance, if you go out now, you see either the barbing shop, playing his music, the bar woman there playing that very loud music. Even those who are not associated with entertainment, electrical stores, I've seen, they play music. They just bring their speakers out. And coupled with the noises from cars, etc., as the case may be, you find out that when you want to answer your call, the person will keep shouting, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" That is, an instance that it has gone so bad for the environment that noise pollution is now, an epidemic that is ravaging Nigeria silently and quietly, but nobody is paying attention to it. Now, narrowing it down, because I don't even want, why the reason, this is one of the reasons why, the laws have not worked in some states. When you begin to profile mosques, churches, you see, you raise a red flag, and the religious bodies will now say, "Oh, they are coming for us now." Before you know, they just misconstrue the intention of the law and say they want to shut down all churches, or they want to shut down, a mosque. Religion in Nigeria has become a second skin. Most Nigerians wear religious affiliations and irredentism as their second shirt, and in fact, that is what every day. You are on the bus, you are traveling on a public bus, you see somebody will just stand up and begin to even pollute the noise, and with his speaker and say, "Please listen to me. I want to preach the word of God to you." And you see, when you don't listen, they tell you as if you are a devil. And they come in a manner that is so harsh at times. They don't want to listen. So they talk to you the way they want to talk to you. I have also experienced, even in some conurbations, neighborhoods, where you find educated people. You see someone will be driving his car, he will wind down, he's playing very loud music. I don't know why, the essence of that, whereas he's the only person inside that particular car. Why do that? The other one is a neighbor. I was reading in my room quietly one of these Sundays. I was trying to see if the neighbor in the other compound was blaring, music from his other, the house. We are not even neighbors as per we are staying in the same place. It's just on the other side. I don't know where he put the speaker, but I could hear, the songs. And when I had to go out of the gate one, confront them, I said, "Please, okay, bring down the volume of it." He said, "No, today is Sunday, they are playing Christian music. Are you not enjoying it? Or are you not a Christian?" You see, that is the level of terrorism, religious terrorism we have encountered in Nigeria today. And it has become something that the law has to do something about it. For people who have traveled out, they'll tell you, when you get to a place outside of Nigeria now, you behave abnormally. You may be in a restaurant, you want to answer your call, you begin to shout. People begin to look at you as if you are a mad person. The reason is not far-fetched. Our culture here, you know, is the one that entertains noise pollution. So what I'm trying to say is that I hope the Enugu government will have that will to execute that particular law, implement it, punish those who are found wanting or guilty, or fine them as the case may be. Finally, on this, in Nigeria here, religious bodies are like above the law. If you see a procession of either Muslim or Christian, they block the road. They just use their vehicle they say they're doing a crusade. They block the road, they block access, and you cannot even go through. You have to do one way. Some of them have become something of an outlaw of the state. So it's something that we need to encourage the states for them to put these laws and let it guide them as the case may be. So I believe it's a good law. It's a law that must be implemented and executed. No holds barred. Once you breach it, you have to go to prison for it. And we need to begin to do these things and tax religious houses in Nigeria to curb some of these excesses.
All right, before you speak, Honorable Churchill, Barrister Sims, now you've spoken elaborately about the bullheadedness of the religious the churches and religious organizations to adhere to the law. Right. Now, let's look at, you also said the first concern you raised was the ability, the will of the government to implement these laws. And you married it to Rivers State, that there are laws around this noise pollution, even in Rivers State, and yet it has not been implemented. Let us look at the reason for lack of implementation. Could there be probably a political reason why these laws are not implemented? You recall that during campaigns, one of the focal points of campaigns are churches, they are religious organizations. Churches have large crowd, right? And these pastors and these priests, they have cult following, as it were. So most times, whoever is their anointed candidate, their members naturally, tilt towards that person. So could this be one of the reasons why the government or any government in power finds it difficult to implement these laws, because it will work against you during elections, particularly if you have intention to go for second tenure or you have an anointed one that you want to take over from you when you're done?
In Nigeria, the reason is not far-fetched. It's not because of politics. Nigeria religion, is in every home in Nigeria. Whether you are a Muslim or Christian or even atheist or whatever, the home setting has religious inclinations. People wake up in the morning, they can wake their children up by 2 a.m. and say, let's pray, let's pray. The child goes out without consciousness. The husband goes out without consciousness. So Nigeria is enveloped in a religious frenzy. There is no way that you will tell me that everywhere that you go to, you will not find somebody that is very religious in the family and need to wake up to disturb them. 2 is that religion has been allowed to overwhelm the Constitution. Why am I saying this? Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution says that Nigeria is a secular state. That is, you see, no particular religious group should, be made a state religion. But you find out that what is going on today, you have a Christian Pilgrim Welfare Board, you have Muslim Pilgrim Welfare Board, etc., state participating in it, sponsoring religious bodies or whatever to their various Mecca and Jerusalem as case may be. So it has become something that you find out that most state governments engage in it. How be it that because I'm a Christian governor of a state, I wake up in the morning, I want to do a press conference, or maybe I want to go out and address the nation, I will say, let's pray. We begin to pray in Jesus' name, etc. as case may be. Those of the Muslim stuff will say, in Allah's name we are praying. And you are performing a state function. So it has become so pronounced in our consciousness. 2, is that if you look at Nigeria is a state after ethnicity. In fact, religion is even worse than ethnicity in Nigeria. Religious irredentism is worse than ethnicity. Now, what happened is this. The first thing when you go, are you a Christian? Say, I'm a Christian. The person will not see you naturally as his brother or his sister, as case may be. Now, let me tell you the audacity and the audacious nature in which religion has played a role in Nigeria today. Do you know that there's a popular man they call Zaki Zaki? Many people didn't know why the Kaduna State government took that man to court. The reason why he went to court and spent some years in prison, even though I'm against the way he was tried, but people forgot what he did. His members blocked the convoy of the chief of defense staff. It's not done anywhere. In the US or any civilized country, they will shoot people there. Because if you block the convoy of the chief of defense staff, the #1 army general in the country, you are blocking their convoy on their way unprovoked. They did not provoke you, but because you are doing a religious procession on a public road, you now prevented them, and they were diverting from that particular section you blocked. Then the problem now started. You understand? So these are things that religion has done so wrongly for us in Nigeria here. And if you go to anywhere now, you find that people say the only way I can get people. Yes, we know that churches have congregation, but any pastor or any imam that feels that it's by going around with last speakers that he can pass his message to his adherents, millions of them, is living in the past, in medieval times. This time around, we have the social media. You don't even come out to come and make noise. There's a particular pastor now, one doctor like that is making the wave now. He does not have churches all over the place. He is not going around with speakers to address people. But if you go to your Facebook page, you are going to see his message there. So that will attract billions of people all over the world than you disturbing the whole of a single environment of about 10,000 people. That will not make sense. So you better strategize and do a rethink of what we are doing today. The world is a global village. You don't even need all those contraptions or musical boxes all over. Put your programs on the internet, spread it, whatever as case may be. We will reach far more people than the rest people. Finally, there's a popular religious channel that if you see every young religious man is playing, is owned by one of these young pastors. He has no church. His church is in the social media, but people key in there. He has millions of followers all over the world. It's not by making noise and polluting the noise that will make you become popular as case may be. It's an aberration and it's primitive. We should discountenance it. It can only happen in a lawless environment, and Nigeria should not be a lawless society as the case may be.
All right, Honorable Churchill.
Yeah, Barrister Asima has really talked about religion. Yes, I know too well that the religions also, as both Muslim and the Christian, has also contributed to this noise pollution. But particularly me, I am particular about one set of this noise pollution, that is the horn speaker. In most areas, I see that mostly here, the Muslims use it outside, where they shout their Allah, Barakah, something. And these shops that call themselves restaurants and bar, they are also involved in this noise pollution. And me, I want whatsoever thing that is going to happen should happen according to the law. Like Barrister Sim has pointed clearly about the law made in Rivers State, yes, concerning noise pollution.
Noise pollution.
So I am of the opinion that the government should implement these laws. The reason why, like you said or asked earlier, the reason why government is not implementing most of this law is because every government that comes, look at the money that is entering the purse of the government. They don't think about the people. I said it here earlier before this time, in one of the shows in Open Conversation, that the problem in leadership that we're having in our country today is the ability of one to know why he is in government. You know, when they elect you as a governor or as a president, you might do so many campaigns. But what matters is what is in your mind, your mindset, before you assume the office. You know, so many laws are being made, but implementation of the law depends on the mindset of the executive. Some are only interested in the money that enters their pocket, what they will gain as a governor or as a president or as a local government chairman, what wants to enter, what the business they will set up before they leave. They are not interested in the people they have come to serve. Right. You know, the most important thing about leadership, the first in leadership is service. Servanthood is the first point in leadership. If you cannot serve, you can't be a leader. That is the reason why they fail. Many people fail when they have been given the opportunity to serve, because they forget immediately about the servanthood that is embedded in the leadership.
All right.
If you are being elected by your people, you are being elected as the chief servant of your people, not as the authority of your people. No. Okay. Until they imbibe these characters, until they imbibe this knowledge in them, they will not be able to start executing the laws that is being made.
Right.
Both in the local government and the state, so many laws are made. Those laws are supposed to be correcting some certain excesses. But because our people has refused to implement those laws, enforcing a law depends on the ability of somebody, the elected executive, to understand that he is a servant.
All right.
So me, I am encouraging other states to follow suit and implement it to the latter, because it will help us. Both the religious, both these restaurants and bars, clubs, everything, they should know what to do at the right time.
All right.
They should avoid this, like Barrister Sim has said. Also this this thing, MP3 or what they used to put on here. They should also know, before you put on that thing, some children will hide the volume like this, and they won't put it on their ear to be sounding. So they should also correct those aspects.
All right, Honorable Churchy. And one very important aspect that, for want of time, we will not be able to discuss it, would have been blocking of roads.
Blocking of roads.
Personal events. That is very rampant in Rivers State.
Yes, yes.
And nothing is being done about it.
Somebody, if burial, they will block roads.
For an important, for personal events. But then, on to the next story. Hongshan Fushen Industrial Investment Company Limited, a Chinese firm, has released one of the seized Nigeria's presidential jets. Recall that Hongshan, the Chinese firm, had secured a court order to confiscate 3 Nigerian presidential jets pending when it received $74.5 million awarded to it against Nigeria. The spokesperson of the company, who made this known to newsmen on Friday, said the company released the aircraft because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would need it to travel to a scheduled meeting with President Macron of France early next week. Asims, you're smiling.
Yes.
What is your take on this matter?
It's an affront on the Nigerian sovereignty and suzerainty. It's a declaration of war on Nigeria by China. Under international laws, some other countries would have engaged the Chinese, foreign minister or the ambassador, if they have it here, to find out why this has happened, because it's a coup. Under international law, there is no nation, I have not seen already about where a nation's sovereign asset is confiscated by a court of law or even a country. The only time such was even proposed was the time the Russian-Ukraine war, took place, where sanctions were placed on Russia, and Vladimir Putin and his friends. You found out that even Chelsea, a very popular football club, was part of that problem, where the owner was divested of all his wealth and holdings in that particular whatever. That was it. They were able to do that because was a private individual. If it were to be the asset, a sovereign asset of Russia, it wouldn't be that easy. You know, it's like taking up and closing our embassy or high commissions in another country. Even as it is, under international laws, the moment a sovereign asset like our embassy, the aircraft, or the president, you know, of the country is touched, you have declared war on that particular country. It means that under international law, then the country has the right of retaliation. But in this particular case, I feel sad in the sense that China, before now, we have been warning the influx of Chinese firms and their influence over Nigeria. China was one of those who took over the economy of Uganda, Tanzania, and today the economies of these countries are bedridden. Now, when you find out that you now allow China to foray, you know, aggressively, ferociously into our men, especially the economic side of it, I was very worried that the last administration had to even take loan from China. You know, a particular minister, you know, came and was boasting on air that the agreement he had with China is not the one that we sell our sovereign asset, as the case may be, when they were taking this loan to construct railways, as the case may be. But time will tell. This one has just given an example that the Chinese people are not sincere with Nigerians. The Chinese people are not sincere in Nigeria. Something drastic must be done by the government, an investigation carried out. Let me tell you, do you know that this particular transaction is just at the P-I-D, you know, transaction that a court in the UK, you know, said Nigeria should pay 2.2 billion to that P-I-D company. But when Nigeria had to apply and now join issues with that particular company, it was found that P-I-D was a fraudulent contraption that wanted to fleece Nigeria of 2.2 billion. It's a similar thing that is happening here. The Nigerian government must stand up firmly against this company and prosecute them in accordance with our laws. Some of the officials are still present in Nigeria here. Now, what am I talking about? Do you know that on-site investigation and visit to that particular area was found that the only thing this particular company did in the so-called free zone, export free zone, was just a fence. They have not even built the I don't know what they call it. They call this, I've forgotten the name they use, in this dry dock or whatever they call it, as case may be. In the warehouse, there's no warehouse there. That place ought to be, you know, an export free zone where materials can come from the other part of the country and you export outside Nigeria to China. You process them, then you have industries that process cashew, corn, etc. in the mode they want it in China and export to China without taxing the company. As case may be, go and make your money and come back in Nigeria to invest. But none of these things were on ground. He ran into hectares of land. That was the reason why the Ogun State governor, because this thing happened as far back as 2007. 2007, nothing is on ground. They did not even employ Nigerians. They just acquired that wide expanse of land, denying the original owners of that land for using that land for farming purpose, as case may be. Then 2010 or thereabout, the governor had to ask a question. What exactly is going on here? What exactly is the problem that we are having, that this land is so fallow? He made inquiries and found that this is what happened. They came and inquired almost half of Ogun State by a company in China, and no activity is done. That was why I had to go and revoke that particular, CFO. The revocation might not be in line with the laws of Nigeria. If they are challenged in court here, I would have understood. But it didn't happen. The lesson to be learned from here is that those governors who normally, because I have questioned why a government of a state will enter into an MOU with a foreign body, like the Chinese body, to say, you are going to do export free zone or processing zone in my country. You just sign and you go. You leave government, you didn't ask, what about the MOU you have signed? Like a particular state in Nigeria, in South here, you find the government has signed more than 500 MOUs. And we have been asking in Edo State, let me be very specific. We have been asking in Edo State, what are you doing with this MOU? One is on drilling, one is on this, but none of them is working. So this is a typical example. Tomorrow night we'll now begin to hear that those MOUs that were entered, if you revoke, then the company might go against us and go to abroad and go and get a forfeiture of our asset. The third one is this, lesson to be learned here. Nigerians always blame the Nigerian judiciary. The ex parte orders are anathema, to our proceedings or whatever. That judges grant it at their wills and caprices. You have found out today that ex parte orders is not just a Nigerian problem. The court in France, whether it lacks jurisdiction or not, we don't know, but gave an ex parte order for the attachment of the sovereign property of Nigeria. That is international law, which means the judiciary is at question, and at a point in time in the whole world, we have to find out whether some judicial officers are following the law as case may be. It was an ex parte order that they got to do this. The fourth reason is this now. What is the government supposed to do? A government that is proactive, they cannot tell me, like I heard they said, since August 4th, they heard about this. What action did they take to vacate that order, arrest that order internationally, this as case may be? The AGF was even in contact with this particular company. I thought by now that the AGF would have filed something, in counter to vacate that particular order that was given, because export order is just like the one we have in Nigeria here. It's for a period of time. Go there and vacate it. Then you now state the fact and let the parties be put on notice. Like they have been scared now. You see what happened? It was because of the action that was taken 24 hours ago that made them to even say they should release one of the jets. Under which condition did they release that particular jet, to the president? Are you sure that the jet, as the case may be, on security purposes, they have to hold them responsible and make sure that that particular jet is scrutinized security-wise, because we don't know why they have to do that. Let me tell you, in Rwanda, one of the reasons that took place was called the reason why the war took place because of the president lost his life in an aircraft. So that aircraft, why the sudden release? Our national security advisor must go to France, scrutinize that particular this thing, and let the Chinese government indemnify that particular jet, that nothing is going to happen to it. Otherwise, I ask myself the question, because a lot of people have called me for my opinion on this, and my opinion on this, but it's Ogun State that this happened. It was not Nigeria. That is what I tell people. I always tell them that you should hold your governors accountable. But everybody in Nigeria is only about the president. Your governors enter into agreements that are unenforceable. And at the end of the day, this is a typical example. And further than right now, the blame is on Nigeria. Why did they do that? Is under international law, there's a principle of vicarious liability. That when a particular sub-regional government is acting, that it cannot act without the consent of the national, government. And true to type, most of them, when they want to go into MOU these days, they don't even tell the federal government. You see them bring them in. This is a lesson to be learned, as case may be. So Ogun State, the liability of Ogun State has been visited on Nigeria, because Ogun State do not have properties outside of Nigeria, as case may be. So the vicarious liability and caution fell on Nigeria as a nation, to do that. So let them put their hands in order, and I believe that it's going to be like the PI and D case, where Nigeria was exonerated and was not able to pay 2.2 billion. You understand? So these are things that should be done. There should be legal examinations by the AGF that should be proactive, and by this time, President Tinubu should be speaking with the Prime Minister, whoever, of China, to say this is an assault and affront on the Nigerian nation, that you did not go for it, you went to take our presidential fleet. I mean, that is something that is not understandable. It's like you have a problem with America, they go and seize Air Force One. For me, this is something that is shocking in the international community. And I wait to see reactions from the appropriate quarters in Nigeria.
All right, Honorable Churchill. Now there are questions around these issues. First of all, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, when reacting to this story, said that it is an international embarrassment. And then he went further to say that Nigeria entered a deal to purchase presidential jets, and it was done in secrecy. However, Bayo Ononuga, the presidential spokesperson, came out to say that the presidential jets went to China for routine maintenance. Now, that even gives rise to other questions. There is already a litigation on ground, and if not for the seizure of these presidential jets, Nigerians probably would be unaware of this particular issue. So now there is a case, there is a litigation on ground, and federal government has been attached to the matter. Why do the routine maintenance in the same country where you have a case knowing that this might happen?
You see, just like the presidential candidate of Labour Party, His Excellency Peter Obi, everybody knows too well that the problem we have in this country is high level of corruption, and is affecting the whole system. You know, there is a saying they used to say that pregnancy cannot hide forever. All these things that they are doing in this country, believe that they are harming the nation, they want to enrich themselves, they want to do this, will not last forever. China has come to the level of intimidating, embarrassing, and insulting Nigeria because Nigeria prayed for it. I would say that if not Nigeria belittle themselves up to the extent of going through our government officials to go and borrow money from fund from China. China wouldn't insult Nigeria. Even a child you give birth to, any day you tell your child to borrow you money, your child has started knowing that, yes, that your pocket is dry. So we involved ourselves in the problem that we are seeing today. I will say it clearly that most Nigerians believe that they are the owners of Nigeria and they can do things without what Nigeria... Most of our presidents,
you mean politicians?
Politicians, not only politicians.
All right.
Most of our executives and aides within that surrounds the executive, that is the government officials.
Are they not politicians?
They are the government officials.
Are they
I know whenever I talk about government officials, you align them to politics, becoming politicians. Yes, they are politicians.
Are they the masses?
They are politicians. But one thing is they do some certain things as if they are the owners of Nigeria. They do things without conscience. You know, when you start doing things without conscience, you attract more cost to yourself. You attract more cost to yourself. Look at China seizing the aircraft of Nigeria and releasing it at the very because of one thing, that the president wants to travel. What do they? If anything happens to our president, will you hold China responsible? No. Just like Barrister Sim has said, if they are not assuring Nigeria that this aircraft is safe, and if anything happens to this aircraft within the period of the traveling of the president, that they are responsible. Nigeria cannot fly with that. Our president should not fly with that aircraft. That is one. And again, Nigerians should see the relationship they are creating with other countries to be very, very, not very carelessly. You understand? They shouldn't be creating careless relationship with countries. You want to create a relationship with your enemy. Somebody that wants you dead. Somebody that wants to destroy you. Just like Barrister Sim said, there are two countries he mentioned, Uganda and Tanzania. If you look at those two countries that China has cramped, finished, they've washed them, you will find out that the same thing is applicable. It's happening in Nigeria now. Look at the economy of Nigeria. We don't even know if what will enjoying ourselves into. That is what is happening to our economy. You know, bringing in a criminal to your environment can cause your things losing, missing anyhow without you knowing. Nigeria economy is, instead of appreciating, is depreciating daily.
Is that a function of bringing in or taking loan from China, or
no, we don't know where
or a function of bad economic policies, or ill-timed, probably policies with good intention but wrong timing? Is that a function of, you know, having economic relationship with other countries, or a function of the leaders not fighting endemic corruption? Is it a function of the leaders? Because if you recall, even Elon Musk yesterday, when advising the government of the United States of America, told them that they have to cut down cost of governance. Is it a function of the governments not prioritizing what they should prioritize? For example, actually cutting down the cost of governance. Do you remember how many billions of naira that was used to purchase cars, fleets of vehicles for the office, the unconstitutional office of the First Lady of Nigeria? Should we start looking into the take-home of the senators as exposed by Senator Kabu? Do we start looking into government expenses, government excesses when it comes to financial misappropriation and mismanagement? Is that the problem? Is it the economic mismanagement, misappropriation of funds, or relationship with countries of the world?
Okay, like you have said it, you know, adding everything together, the cost of Nigeria emanates from there. Let me tell you, we borrowed money from China, who are servicing the loan. It's excessive. It's excessiveness of spending. It's excessive spending.
Who is to blame, China or Nigerian government?
What I'm telling you is the Nigerian government that involved themselves. I told you earlier that some of our government officials that went into this agreement with China, they are also part of the same government. You know, when people say now the same people, you understand? The problem with the Nigerian government is that it's the same Qatar that is still holding our country. And that is the reason why there is nothing like change. The same people are operating in the same particular. You cannot correct a mistake you understand, you purposely made. You purposely, this thing is a glass, and you break it, and you say you want to join it back. It's not possible. You purposely did it. The problem Nigeria is facing is by the same people that caused the problem. That is the reason why we are not seeing solution. So me, I am saying that, particularly for this particular aircraft seizure and release it, that Nigerians has been embarrassed. In short, including me and everybody, who have been embarrassed by this same China. And for we to correct this embarrassment, for it not to continue, for this embarrassment not to continue, that Nigeria has to take legal actions to ensure that this kind of thing, and whatsoever relationship they are creating with China, they should automatically cut it off, because we don't know before we turn to Uganda
Right.
or Tanzania. I'm telling you the truth.
All right. All right. Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, on Friday set aside a lower court order barring the former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, the sacked Rivers Governor, Celestine Omehia, and a former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Austin Okpara, from attending the party's meetings. A three-member panel of the Court of Appeal in three separate judgments unanimously upheld the appeals filed by the three aggrieved party chieftains. The appellate court held that it found merit in their appeals. Justice Inyan Ekwo of the Federal High Court in Abuja had issued an order barring Secondus, Omehia, and Okpara from further attending any meeting of the party's National Executive Committee or participating in deliberations or proceedings of the meetings in any manner. The appellate court, however, held that the issue of whether members of a party should attend the party's meetings or participate in any of its activities is a matter to be determined by the political party. The court also held that the issues relating to whether or not members of a political party should attend the party's meetings, being internal affairs of the party, are not justiciable and beyond the court's jurisdiction. Honorable, let me start with you first, Barrister Asims, the legal angle.
I don't know the politician.
This also contributes to the legal angle.
The legal angle, Asims, what do you have to say?
There's nothing new. All these are just legal pronouncements. Just that the people involved, they are going to hit up the system now. Some be jubilating and be saying this has happened. You know, their supporters will be there. Saying that they clamor for whatever they want to do. But I have not seen whether it's a ruling or a judgment. I don't know yet. So I need to see the enrolled copy of the CTC, of the enrolled judgment or order. I don't know for now. Let me know the reason. But there's something that worries me or baffles me. Which the appeal court has now said that the party should determine who to attend meetings and who not to attend meetings. I don't know if that is what this is all about. If that is the situation, why were they first of all barred? Was it the party that barred them, from attending the PDP meeting, or what happened that led to their going to court in the first instance, that they were barred? And the court is now saying that the party has the right, to bar or deny or assess or grant access, to party members to do that. So I'm yet to see this. I think I have to look for it and see. Right. Let me go through and know exactly the ratio decidendi. That is the reasons given why this matter was decided, as case may be. But you see, matters of this nature, I keep asking myself, in other climes, even recently Ghana, very close to us here, Togo, etc. as case may be, Cameroon, as we have seen, even Chad, where you have military, whatever as case may be. The question I keep asking is this: do these kind of matters come before their courts? Why do we have so many political matters of this nature? Moving from Federal High Court to Court of Appeal. I'm sure they go to appeal to Supreme Court. Why are we disturbing the judiciary and judicature with internal affairs of political parties? Why is it that only Nigerian political parties have this temerity of approaching court? Any moment they don't find out, they run to court, go and say, tell me to do this or do this for us. Whereas it ought to be your internal affairs. If you deny your members access, let them go and sleep or fight back to reinstate themselves, not by bothering the courts, in my own opinion. You understand? Because this is one of the reasons why I found out that the judges are so busy with political matters to the extent they now relegate very important other matters to the background because of political matters of this nature. So that is the only observation I made. But finally on this, when I get to read the judgment, I will know exactly what caused this and what they arrived at.
Right. Honorable Churchill, you are a politician.
Yes, I was expecting...
And you're a PDP member.
I was expecting Barrister Asim to tell us really that the Court of Appeal has a higher ground, a better ground to take decision in this matter.
But it's an internal party affair.
One problem I have with our political system, particularly in Rivers State, is that we spend money unnecessarily for things that are not worth it. The Court of Appeal now has taken a decision in this matter. Me, I don't see anybody to have the ground to stop me from growing politically. I believe that any party I belong to, my input should speak for me. So nobody owns a political party, but we'll have leaders in the political party. That is one thing I believe. Because if you think you own a political party, then only you should be the voter, and only you should contest all the positions. But in this aspect, anybody can come up, even an old woman in the village can come up that is a member of a political party. Uche Secondus is a notable man. These personalities are notable persons in the party, and they've also made their contributions. But what matters is, what is their current input in making sure that the party grows? Like the reconciliation committee that is going to be set up, that like we discussed last time, that has been set up by the National Executive Council, should work towards ensuring that everybody is reconciled and the party should remain what it's supposed to be, both in the states and the national. This will help the party gain a better ground. And I really know that most of our party stakeholders has turned themselves to arena crisis people, trying to instigate issues here and there to make sure that they get something from this person or this person. But what matters most is the party, the structure, the party. It's very, very important. And they are doing these things to bring more enmity, create more enmity within the circles of the party and bringing the party down instead of making it, lift it up. Uche Secondus, if the appeal court overrules the order that was enacted by the lower court, I believe that the party stewards should work together. They shouldn't go ahead going to Supreme Court concerning this matter. This matter should die at this level, where everybody should come together to work as one. That is my own advice to them, to the party stewards.
Are you not part of the party?
The party stewards. I know what I'm saying.
Are you not a PDP member?
No, I am an original PDP member. Original.
You're a politician, you agree. This crisis has to do with your party.
It does. That's the reason why I have to follow my own advice. And in my state too. So I know these persons have at least have met with Secondus when he was a national party chairman. Umeha is my boss. I've been with him. He knows me like he can call my name even when it's dark. And all these persons, I know they are these things. So what I'm saying is that the crisis should pedal down.
Right.
Everybody should work together.
All right.
Let us build our party.
Interesting. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at NJC to investigate allegations against 27 judges. Do not go away.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. National Judicial Council, NJC, has constituted 4 probe panels to investigate 27 High Court judges in the country over various allegations of judicial misconduct brought against them. The council also issued letter of advice to Justice O.M. Olagunju of Oyo State High Court to be circumspect as a judicial officer before acting, even in the most challenging situation. At its 106th meeting, presided over by the outgoing Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwola, the NJC considered the report of its preliminary complaints assessments committee on 22 petitions written against 27 judicial officers of the federal and state high courts. Based on the report of the preliminary committee, the council set up 4 committees to investigate allegations in the petitions that were found meritorious. A statement by the NJC Director of Information, Mr. Soji Oye, on Friday in Abuja, however, said that the remaining 18 petitions were discountenanced for lacking in merit, abandoned, or being sub judice. Asims, what is your take on this story?
There's nothing new. It's been like this. I've known, the lawyer profession. But it's just that we have to reiterate that the judiciary, otherwise known as the judicature in the Constitution, is a hallmark of democracy in any country. The judiciary saved democracy in America in January 6, 2020. Judiciary has saved nations from war. Also, judiciary can plunge a nation into war. Judiciary can create problems for the polity. In Bangladesh, many do not know that it was because of a court decision that the highest court in Bangladesh delivered a judgment, and the following day, the people poured onto the street, and a government was toppled by popular votes and demand. It was the courts in that particular country that created the opportunity for that to happen. So you see the role the judiciary play in Nigeria here under Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution is very sacrosanct. That is why we see when you refer to mortals as my Lord, that tells you that after God, they are next. The judiciary can sentence a man to death, can sentence a man to imprisonment. Of course, they make mistakes here and there because they are human beings. Just like late, Oputa, Justice Oputa, said about fallibility and infallibility, that they are not infallible, that they are fallible because they are human beings. That is, they can make mistakes. Quite recently, I read about a young man in the U.S. who was about 24 years old, who was convicted for murder, and he spent 48 years in prison. It was just last year it was found out that he was not the one that murdered, the victim. That is a miscarriage of justice. That tells you that, the judicature and those judges can make mistakes. They are not above mistake. So that goes back to the fact that fallibility and infallibility by Justice Oputa, the theory as we call it, of the Supreme Court, not being infallible, but because they are fallible, that is why they find out that they can make mistakes, as the case may be. But they are final courts. So this was what happened. And to compensate the young man, the American government paid him $7.8 million for the mistake of one particular court or the judge. Likewise in Nigeria here, the judiciary has been plundered. The judiciary has been dismembered. The judiciary has been lobotomized, like I normally use that word, medical. It's a medical term, that you have removed the frontal lobe of the brain, and the brain cannot function properly again. Judiciary has become a burden to us lawyers, to the extent that if I walk on the street, when I'm going to court, those days I used to have my collarless, but these days, if I'm going to court, I wear my native attire. Then when I get to the office or the court premises, I enter the common room and change to my normal robe because of the fear that I have consciously on me that when people see you as a lawyer, you are bound, you attract a lot of negative comments. It's as a result of the judiciary. So if the NJC has said they are, going to discipline judges, I agree with them. But it's not about making it or saying in your 106 session meeting, and at the end of the day, you don't discipline them. A good example is these ex parte orders that has been abused by judges. And the ex parte orders has created problems in Rivers State especially, based on ex parte orders, different orders from different courts. I was thinking that one or two of the judges should have been sanctioned. And it is on record that one judge from Rivers State is under sanction, though the old dispensation. But more should be sanctioned in respect to the polity and what is happening in Rivers State politically today. Many of them are culpable, but we have seen that the NJC treat them at times with kids' gloves. That is why you find out that it keeps repeating itself. You understand? I want to see an NJC that will punish people, judges. For instance, I want to see an NJC that will look at the Kano issue. You know, the Court of Appeal. They delivered a judgment. It was later found that the judgment they delivered viva voce, that is openly and speaking, was different from the one that was written. What has happened to that particular panel? What happened to that particular case? A lot of people made noise, NJC made noise to punish. What have they done with the investigations, happening to this? We don't know, as the case may be. Was it a frivolous allegation or not? The NJC should let us know. So punishment is within their cubicle and within the purview of NJC to punish erring judges, as the case may be. And I want to say with due respect, punishing them by relieving them of their duties and maybe suspending them or whatever, or let them go is not enough. They should be prosecuted in court for criminal conduct if they are found so wanting and culpable, criminally speaking. Some of them should go to jail because they send people to jail. So let them go and test. Some of them who are very erring, go and do that. Finally on this is that if the judiciary, that to the extent about 27 judges, had petitions against them, but some of these petitions, the people didn't come back, they were discountenanced or abandoned, as case may be. But if maybe they had come to prove those things, we would have seen a lot of things, come out openly that will help us. But it's worrisome that 27, have complaints against them. The reason is because of the fact that the judges now are under serious pressure from politicians, and they are the ones who convert and make these judges, act out of their way. They are products of the society. Before I became a lawyer, I was part of the society. Even when I'm still a lawyer today, I'm still part of the society. So society's corruption, etc., has come into me, all of us. But the only thing that differentiates, a corrupt person from the others is the culture of honor. When we come out and say we are honorable, my father told me never take anything that does not belong to you. A lot of us have forgotten that. People feel that the only way not to be rich is the way society look at it. Finally on this, I said so recently, I said the culture of reward system in Nigeria is very bad. That is why you see when judges go and get opportunities, they want to amass wealth, as the case may be. A judge who retired goes home, he has no house in his place. He works on his food. People will say, look at this man. He was a high court judge. Look at it. He didn't see the worker with leg. So they see it as derogatory because the man tried to maintain honor. You now look at him. And I have advocated a good one in Rivers State, which I said in your sister session last week, which the society do not recognize. Justice J.O. Kobani, retired. That is a forthright judge, a judge that we know in the annals of history of the judiciary in Rivers State here. That man is so honored, he discharged his duties. But nobody today, nobody has gone to give that man an award to say, oh, for being so upright, as the case may be, we are giving you this award. But you see charlatans receiving awards every day on television. So the reward system, what do you think the man will be thinking? And say, if I had known when I was there, I would have done things otherwise. But he was straightforward. He was just like that, a normal human being that said, I don't want to be corrupt, I do. And he was stunted. His growth was stunted on the bench. He couldn't go beyond that particular point. He was very upright. So the reward system in Nigeria today is another reason why people, go outside of their way and do some dishonorable things instead of honorable things. But the reward system is so bad. So the society itself has inputs to make our judicature a better you know, system institution in Nigeria.
All right. Honorable Churchill,
Yeah,
what do you have to say? You got that Barrister Sim has, you know, dwelt on this from the angle of the judiciary and from experience as a lawyer, and he laid a lot of blame on the doorstep of politicians. Now, you, Honorable Churchill, you are a politician.
I will exonerate the politicians.
All right, you may have your say.
I want to exonerate.
I want to exonerate the politicians.
Oh my God.
Go on.
Okay, you know, first of all, like when we are growing, when they tell you your daughter wants or your son wants to study law, you'll be happy. Law medicine was one of the courses that we are trending at that time. I have so many friends that are lawyers. But I began to be very, dicey in my thinking about lawyers right from this incident that just occurred in River State, where others are climbing others and others are sweeping others and others are crossing others. No, I now look at judiciary as an avenue where the Orina crisis people are surrounded so much. And most of them are Orina crisis people, you know. They say when a family, a land
Who are the Orina crisis?
Orina crisis are people that go
the
to
politicians,
take, yes,
right?
Not only the politicians. I say including the lawyers are becoming Orina crisis. Let me tell you why I call them Orina crisis. When they come to give you money to give me injunction, you give me the injunction, you take the money, without knowing the consequences of the injunction tomorrow.
Who asks for, who prays for the injunction?
The others are climbing and flying, others are flying too. And it happened in the River State. You are aware of that. So, but I thank God that the agency has come up with this particular idea. And I believe that there are some certain things that will happen now to straighten the side.
But this is not the first time NJC is coming up with this. I mean, over and over again, they have always made the statement, particularly Wola, you know, has always said, oh, they are going to sanction erring judges, they are going to probe erring judges, they are going to do this and do that and all of that.
Okay.
And the question, like, I wanted to ask Barrister Sims, but he had already, in his extrapolation, he clearly answered it. Because I wanted to ask, the reason for the increase in judicial rascality, probably is it because of the docility of the NJC? And when he was talking, without my asking,
he made it clear.
He made it clear that this is what it is. And I'm asking you now, as a politician, Barrister Sims has laid a lot of blame on the doorstep of politicians.
Okay,
and you're trying to exonerate people who are clearly culpable. Now, the others and the counter-others that have been flying, particularly in River State, for example, who are the persons going to court?
That's where now when we're talking about others are climbing and
how
others
do
are
you
flying,
defend?
let me tell you, see, the problem of the agency is that they are watery. I mean, when I mean they are watery, they are accessible, and that is the reason why the high rate of the corruption is there. They are the people that are supposed to curtail and control corruption, but they are the people that has increased the high level of corruption. And the politicians that pay you for you to give judgment, it's not the fault, because it's
not the fault of the politicians.
They're not the fault of the politicians.
Can you hear on the
but you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
But you know one thing is that you cannot even grow in the judiciary without the politicians. That is where the problem comes. Because they are the people that, with the recommendation of the agency, the politicians now, the agency will recommend 3-4 persons for a position. And the politicians will take decision on who to appoint. Why not the agency appoint? You understand? And let it be confirmed by the politicians. But in the other way around,
who makes the law?
The politicians makes the law.
All right, go on.
You understand?
And you're blaming who exactly?
The problem is that the judiciary that interprets the law has not told the politicians that this particular angle of this law has to be in the other way around. Because when you tell me something, you know, Just like our Senate is telling the Nigerians how much they should pay them. The rep is telling Nigeria how much you should pay them. You know, when Obasanjo is telling you, how will you now say how much somebody your payee should pay you? You are the person,
you agree with me that you're on a rigmarole because you are really trying
to be a politician.
No, you're a politician clearly, but you're on a rigmarole right now because you're trying so hard to defend
the politician.
You say politicians make the law.
Yes.
They actually make the law that makes NJC recommend, while they, the politicians, according to your words, will appoint. Right?
So they recommend.
NJC will recommend.
But it's as if people
will recommend, and then your people, will appoint.
My people
so
will
because
appoint.
of that, Barrister Sims people have no choice but to dance to the tune of that your people are playing, correct? And then at the end of the day, hold on.
You are pushing it to the
and then at the
politicians.
end of the day, you are now saying that the orders and counter orders that are being given by Barrister Sims people are orders that your people actually pray their people to give. And you have also said that your people can make or mar them. You also said that your people can actually make the good ones in Barrister Sims people to have stunted growth in their career.
No, I did not say
these are the issues.
Because these are the issues. You just mentioned
Hold on, Barrister Sims, Honorable Churchill. Now, if these are the issues, how then are you making a case for your people who are clearly culpable in even the judicial rascality that has been found in Barrister Sims people? I'm using your language.
Okay, now by the grace of God, you did not say politicians rascality. What you said is the judicial rascality. And we are discussing about the judicial rascality. And I know too well that the agency, the reason why this rascality has continued to this level is because of lack of implementation of disciplinary actions. Lack of implementation of disciplinary actions. That is the reason why it continued, and it will also continue if they are not being disciplined.
All right.
So, Barrister Sims people, you understand, is his people till tomorrow because he's an SPR and we know too well. So, people have refused.
I don't know too well. You know too well.
No, Barrister Sims people have refused to keep the country the way it's supposed to be.
Oh wow.
And the reason why Nigeria is having so much problem in becoming orderly in the side of the law is because the judiciary have refused to abide to becoming themselves.
All right.
In becoming rights. And there is no let me say there is no discipline. There is
no, that is not proper.
All right.
Okay, there is no high level of discipline.
I'm going to say, let me just say this with due respect, because people point accusing fingers at judiciary or whatever. Now, have you ever wondered or maybe expected a state where political matters don't come to court at all, except maybe when it has to do with the Constitution? That is how it should be. That is why you find in the American system, you can't even come to court, come and tell me somebody says I should not, I'm a member of one Republican party, I can't be a member. I can't bring that matter to court. Nobody will even listen to you. The second one is this. For every reaction, there must be a cause. Nigerian politicians are just like the animals in the Serengeti. With due respect to them, the only law that they know is not the law of Moses, it's not the law of the country or the Constitution, it's the law of survival. The law they know is that I want to survive the political firmament in my political party, and they do what I call do or die. Why is it that you lose an election, you do not even have facts to buttress the fact that you won the election, but you run to court? What do you expect the court to do? You know that you didn't win the election. You know that you are not a popular candidate. You know that you have failed. The people do not recognize you. But because you want to delay the process, you just go on the voyage to go and, because the law is open to go to Supreme Court. So you want to challenge and distort that man's whatever, you know, till you get to Supreme Court. Why don't you accept defeat and say congratulations? Even in football, Nigerians don't concede. They blame referee, they blame player, they blame the ball, they blame the stadium. But those who watch from outside of Nigeria will say they accept defeat. Players who play the game hug themselves and go home. But Nigerians will tell you, no, that goal ought not to be a goal, it's an offside goal. It's the mentality of the Nigerian people that has affected the judiciary.
Okay.
Because when you bring so many matters before a judge, and you look at it now, it becomes something that you don't understand, the judge will not be happy. Stop blaming the judiciary alone. Nigerian politicians are also part of these problems. That is the situation, please.
Okay, Barrister Sim, I want to agree with you that the judiciary itself need to be disciplined.
They are disciplining themselves already.
Okay. That is the area I want to, because if they don't discipline these judges, what is happening will continue happening.
All right.
That means the major key players in these characters problems that is happening in the country is the judiciary. Thank
you. Do you know that Secondus is now saying judiciary is his hope of becoming because he won yesterday. But when it was against him, he said judiciary is bad. So these are the problems we have in Nigeria.
Judiciary.
Judiciary.
All right. What's he talking about the judiciary?
It's sad.
All right.
It's very sad.
That, according to Barrister Sim, politicians...
The judiciary also need
all
to
right,
be
very well.
Yeah.
Moving on. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has urged the church to take the lead in the crucial role of advancing Nigeria's healthcare system. Jonathan said this in his keynote address at the maiden edition of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion Health Summit in Abuja on Wednesday. The former president, who was represented by the former executive secretary of Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, Professor John Kennedy Okpara, highlighted the church's historical contributions to health and education sectors. While reflecting on the 2014 Ebola crisis, Jonathan acknowledged the bravery of healthcare workers like Dr. Stella Adadevo, who lost their lives in the line of duty. He also acknowledged the passage of the National Health Act signed into law during his administration, which he said had significantly improved healthcare access for millions of Nigerians. Let me start with you first, Honorable Churchill. What do you make of this call by former President Goodluck Jonathan that the church should take the lead in revolutionizing healthcare in Nigeria?
When he says the church, I believe it's not only the church. We should talk about the religion aspects. When we talk about the Christendom, we talk about the Muslims.
All right.
We shouldn't put it only to church. The reason we are in the north, we have more number of the Muslim gatherings more than that of the Christendom. And I believe also that in the south and east, we have more number of the churches than that of the Muslim gatherings. So I believe what he is saying should be it should be taken back to the religions, that they should take lead, because in whatsoever thing we are doing, I believe what Mr. Barrister Sim has said earlier, that the problem with most of these religions is that they are not paying taxes. You understand? So any person can come up to say, I have a church. So, but when they start contributing to the society or to the societal development at large, mostly in that health aspect and other aspects, you see that they will now, the church will start reducing to a particular number. And also Muslim, the same thing is applicable to Muslim gatherings. I was discussing with one of my Muslim friends. He said the same thing that is happening to church is the same thing that is happening to Muslim too. But it's just that in the Muslim aspect, you cannot just come, you pin a tent, and you say you have a mosque here without being approved from their headquarters. But the same thing is also applicable. So me, I am of the opinion that both the churches and the Muslims, that is the mosque, should join hands in this lead to ensure that our people also get back from them. Because it's not only coming to church, paying offering, and paying tithes, and going to pay contributions in the Muslim mosque. It's also for them to also reciprocate to the society. It's very, very important that they give back to the society too. Because the environment you are staying, those persons, there is no church like these big churches, Anglican, Catholic, let me say in the Pentecostal side, Salvation Ministry, Winners and the rest of them, Apostolic and the rest of them, that has large numbers. You know, if they preach the head, also have a head talk with their people, you will see that it will go a long way in introducing good heads into the society. Because if you count the number of persons that do not attend either Muslim mosque or church, you understand, within the week, if you count the number is not up to 30% in the society. So they should also take the lead by preaching it to their people. Okay. They should have an avenue where the people can also hear about head talk from them. All right. It will also contribute more to our head in the society.
All right. I think, what do you have to say to that?
I think what Jonathan, the ex-president, is trying to say is that the churches should do a hate revolution. I think that falls within the callings of the churches. Because Jesus Christ, whom Christianity is a father, did healing in the Bible. He did more of healing than prosperity, than giving money to people. Christ had to go out, heal the lame, heal the blind. In today's world, we call it medicines. He gave them medicines. He had a hospital that he was healing people. There was a particular area too that Christ also healed a blind man when he used his sputum and take part of the earth, rub it together and now, plaster the man's eye. That is where some people say that is where traditional medicine also, originated from. But as it is, bringing it down to Nigeria and the healthcare system and the revolution anticipated by Jonathan, I remember vividly that one of the best hospitals in my area up to today is a Catholic hospital. So they established these hospitals that were known to practice medicine at the best height. If you needed the best medicines, drugs, if you go to that hospital, you are going to get it. They were scattered all over Edo State or the then Bender State, and they are still in existence today. If you go to Enugu State today, you also see one of the best hospitals in that area is the one owned by the Catholics, where this Father Baka or whatever operates from, as the case may be. There's a very big hospital there. So the revolution, as is envisaged by the ex-president, is that let the church be the catalyst. If people come to say they are healing people in churches, because we have heard where they say they have healed the blind, the lame could walk, they put their wheelchair in adverts they make, why don't you heal malaria and open up the real space, where you have hospitals? Assuming if you have, each church in Nigeria, as many as they are, have hospitals established for their medical need of their members. I'm very sure that a lot of hospitals will be scattered all over Nigeria. That is, health facilities will be scattered all over Nigeria that can assuage and help us. Even the Muslim world, there is what we call the Ahmadiyya Hospital. It's scattered all over the Muslim region of Nigeria. That is hospital established by the Ahmadiyya group. So that is what he's talking about. Then if the hospital, the churches or religious bodies can do more of this, then the little the state will now build by way of their primary health centers is going to complement and bring a holistic revolution in the health sector as the case may be. I think that is what he is trying to, say, which is an encouraging one. Right. I hope they heed his call and begin to establish hospitals as you plan churches, establish hospitals, medical base, etc., within your area. It helps, as the case may be. That is what he is trying to say here, I believe.
All right. Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has reacted to the claim of his Igbo paternity, declaring that such insinuation made him laugh. The disclosure came even as the former president said he doesn't believe anybody in Nigeria should be driven away from any part of the country, declaring that we own this country together. Obasanjo made this known when he received in audience the leadership of Ndi Igbo Amaka Progressive Market Association, an umbrella body of major markets in Lagos State, held at the boardroom of the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, Abeokuta, Ogun State. In a statement by his special assistant on media, Kehinde Akinyemi, Obasanjo, who did not speak much further on the paternity claim issue, simply says, "It just makes me laugh." Obasanjo said he doesn't believe anybody in Nigeria should be driven away from any part of the country, asserting that we own this country together. Athens, what is your take on this matter?
Well, the matter...
you recall that Ndibo must go started trending during the Ed Bad Governance protest.
I understand. I heard that, but I thank God that I think they gave them 20th of August. The Nigeria police should be able to get those people out. The DSS should be able to get those impostors out of their shell on social media. It's not difficult to track them. Let them track those people who are trying to plant this issue of bad blood, amongst people who have lived together for a very long time. I do not know why somebody will wake up in the morning and begin to say things against his fellow man because he's from a different tribe, as the case may be. I know that xenophobia, does operate. Racism and ethnicity does operate. But you see, I want Nigerians to understand. I've spoken on this matter, a number of times. It is only political times that you see these kind of things come up. When politicians wake up and use that divide and rule method to now begin to say that a particular tribe is trying to prevent them, from becoming president or governor or whoever as the case may be, they now see and profile those people as those disturbing them. Also, you find out that when a particular president is from a particular tribe, his people see him as their own. And the opportunity for them to now produce a governor or president. If you say things against the person, even if you are very objective in your analysis, as the case may be, they will say you are criticizing him because it's not from your ethnic, because it's not from your place. So they people have the right to protect. I've seen situations where you see the governor or whoever was in power, somebody will write petition to CP or the whole world and said, if anything should happen to that man, anything should happen to this our son, that these people will do this. I mean, those kind of things is through politics and that divide and rule. But the question I've asked is this: when politicians do all these things now, I sit and I ask myself, Nigerians don't think this way. I want to live from point A to point B. I don't care who is driving the taxi. I don't care who is driving the e-hailing, whatever. I don't care whose supermarket I go to shop. I don't care who sells the garri in the market. I go there and buy. I don't care who sells the carrot. So you find that the Nigerian society is different from this political society that are always, trying to incite people to create problems in society. But the only difference is that, yes, we must have bad people who try to incite. There are very few. The majority must not allow them to overweigh them. Why are we threatened or frightened when majority of us have agreed to be one? There's no need. Even if you balkanize Nigeria into 10, 20 countries today, we will still share borders. There is no way you say you take your country you have created to another sky to go and stay there, and you run away from us. We are still going to share borders. We are still going to intermarry, as the case may be. A Nigerian man marries an American man. From Germany they marry. From UK they marry. So what is all these things that Igbos must leave Lagos? It brings back to tell that it's a dirty mind that brings that in. And why did that happen? Let me mind you, it was politicians that brought this because of that bad government campaign. So they now went to whip sentiments and sponsor some people to go and begin to write those things to divide and rule us again, so that we will not have one united voice to speak against bad governance and government. That is why this thing took place. But the Nigerian man should not be deterred. We should not even be distracted, because I have been some places that I found that I don't know who people are there. I only go there and they render service. I just go my way. I have also seen people, you know, that are not from my zone. The only man that the person that helped me while I was a youth corper was not even from my own town. I did not even know him. I was not related to him. He's somebody from a different part of the country that saw me as a brother, saw me stranded, and said he wants to help me. And he helped me, and I was able to stay there for 3 good years. You understand the point? So these are things I don't know. So it tells you the political tension in Nigeria and the situation, whatever that does happen. In Rwanda, this is the same thing that happened, but they were not able, you know, to put themselves together and fight and resist this kind of cause. That is why today they are regretting. If you go to Rwanda or Burundi to talk about ethnicity now, they will just put you in jail. So the government must do something very quickly. Rwanda is telling the whole world that what happened in 1994 was a big mistake. Ignorance was the reason why that happened. Will Nigeria begin to trade and trend on this kind of capricious, you know, modality as case may be, or mode as case may be? I do not think that I support that. Let whoever that has gone to publish this, the DSS, National Security Agencies, should track and bring them out, then prosecute them to serve as deterrent to others. That is what I feel. Politically, we won't be divided, but by race and humanity, we are one united people.
All right. Honorable Churchill, what is your take? And also recall that, you know, calls have been made that these people should be tracked, fished out, and the police has come out to say that they are tracking them, they are fishing them out, but surprisingly, up until now, not one arrest has been made.
That is the reason why I say when somebody wants to take an oath of office, maybe as a governor, after taking the oath of office, they should always use that oath of office to remind him that this is what you are pledged to. I said it here earlier that when you are being given opportunity to serve your people, you should not see it as an authority over your people. Because when they give you an opportunity, elect you for a position to serve your people, and you take an oath of office to protect the lives and properties of the people, you should also do every damn thing to oblige to that particular oath. So the government of Nigeria, the government of Lagos State, should work towards ensuring that everybody in Lagos State is safe. You know, after the 2023 election, something happened in Lagos State where a fire outbreak occurred in Alaba Market, and I thought about that. I made my investigations towards that, and I was not happy. You know, really in Lagos State, so many Igbos have been there that brought the development in Lagos State. You know, for years, the number of Igbos in Lagos State contributed to development in Lagos State. So it shouldn't be now because maybe political era just came, and last time they saw that the people took a decision of making sure that they vote their people, vote the person of their choice, and because of that, they want to instigate issues. And one thing we should know is that there are calibers of politicians and different interests of leadership styles. You know, everybody might be called a politician, that if you are a politician, but what matters is your mindset towards your leadership style. Everybody has a leadership style. So I believe that the governor of Lagos State should ensure that he's working with the commissioner in Lagos State hand in hand to make sure they fish out the persons that are instigating this issue. And because this particular matter can cause a very dangerous thing in this country, and which we are not praying for such. If anything happens to people in Lagos State, there are also people in Rivers State. There are also people in other states. So the people that are instigating this thing in Lagos State that Igbos must go, is there people not in the east? Is there people not in the other states? So they should know that Nigeria is one, just like what Obasanjo has said. Nigeria is one, and we are all in one. Until Nigeria comes up to divide, everybody remains Nigerian. So you cannot change the insinuation that you are a Nigerian. Just like Barrister Sim will always say, politicians instigate this or instigate it. You know, yes, some politicians might be there to instigate these issues, but not when you want to say it, Barrister Sim, my brother, you say some politicians, because when you say politicians, you are being joined in the problem.
That's the way you put it. When you say the judiciary, it's just the same way you say the judiciary. You just say the judiciary, and it means that all people.
No, that is the reason why.
So that is
we should say some politicians,
some judges, not all judges. Why say all judges are corrupt? So these are the things. You see how it pains now.
Now, as looking at it,
you see how it pains.
That's right.
It's paid for sure. It's paid. All right, good.
So some.
It should be some politicians,
some judges, some judges.
Some politicians.
Some judges.
You know, but this thing is not right. You understand? They should be fished out and they should trash out this matter once and for all. Every Nigerian should enjoy where you are staying and live peacefully.
But it's the same your closing statement.
My closing statement is just that, you see, the Nigerian government must take decisive step, stern action against the Chinese company and the government of China.
Okay.
For that umbrage, for that temerity, audacious, seizure, confiscation, or whatever they call it, of our sovereign assets, that is an infraction under international law. In fact, that is war. You have declared war on a sovereign nation by tampering with a sovereign, asset. It's like invading our embassy in any country. That is not allowed under international law. The court in France, the government of the day must quickly file, a joinder or a motion, whatever so-called. They go to that particular court, vacate that particular order, arrest the order, and restitute all that has been given for Nigeria, join issues with them, and prosecute or defend this particular matter, to the best of your own knowledge and with the best practice that we have in legal parlance. The AGF should not just be there, standing hands akimbo. This is a time we need that office to be active and, save Nigeria from this mortal, embarrassment and disgrace, as the case may be. So that's my closing remark. And I believe that between this week, as the week goes on, next week, we should be hearing good news that all our sovereign assets, confiscated or otherwise by any court anywhere in the world, have been released to us, and that prosecution of that case or defense of that case has yielded result, and Nigeria has not been found wanting as a nation, and even begin to internally and inwardly in Nigeria today probe that company, whatever they call Chinese company, probe them, and if possible there are people connive with them in Nigeria here, they should be arrested and prosecuted.
All right. Honorable Churchill, very quickly, your closing statement.
My closing statement is that the agency that has fished out the judges that are bringing bad name to the judiciary should be disciplined. Those judges should be disciplined very, very well by the agency. And again, that the peace that we are praying for among the politicians in Rivers State, that the committee should work towards ensuring that these particular politicians are being put together and everybody stay together in Rivers State.
All right.
What we want in Rivers State is peace.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Churchill, for coming. Thank you, Asim Adams Esquire, for coming.
Very much.
It's a pleasure having both of you.
Yes, always
interesting. All right. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of ATN Saturday. Stay connected with us on all our socials. On Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. On Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. You can also watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. On our app, we are ATN Live, and this is where we wrap it up. I'll see you the same time tomorrow. Do not go away. Bye for now.